Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Thank you so much. Today we're jumping back into that old Christian wannabe rock star. You remember that dude? He followed some chick home and made it really uncomfortable. Some people in the comments pointed out that he didn't do anything actively malicious aside from being socially unaware. I think I'm just sort of bracing myself for the parts that come next because you know it's gonna devolve from there. If that's the baseline that we're starting at, things aren't possibly gonna get better if it ended up on the subreddit, right? So I guess we'll just have to see how dark this part can get. Check out links in the description, you know, Twitch, of course. I have promised myself that I will get back on there eventually, but we'll get some additional plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this r/NeckbeardStories cringe. Christian rock star Stalkerbeard, Part 2, The Great Stalking. And not like a stalk of corn or nothing either. It's like the bad kind, all right? Warning for a mild description of triggering topics, including domestic happenings, mental health, and some gross, intimate sort of talk. Well, we'll see what the YouTube censor think to that one, right? Probably don't like it none too much, but we're gonna work through it. It's gonna be fine, probably. Hello, internet! Hello, user Sova tells stories. Yours truly, slow storyteller Sova, here again. A quick recap of the story so far and the cast before we start. Sova, 15 at the time, was lured with free food to the Christian youth meeting by her childhood friend Liz, underestimated the dangers of approaching the neckbeard in disguise, and is now Stalkerbeard's new obsession. Liz is 16, supposedly older and wiser, right? Lured Sova to the Christian youth meeting with that free food. Seeing how Sova's cringe addiction had fished out a lot of personal info about a boy she was interested in, she had indulged me to talk with Stalkerbeard even more. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Photosynthesis is 15, lured Liz to the Christian youth meeting with that oft-mentioned free food. The adequate brother of Stalkerbeard, a soon-to-be youth pastor who doesn't really play a very big part in the story. But he exists, and sometimes that's enough, I guess. Stalkerbeard was 19, entrusted his entire life story in exquisite detail to a girl who asked him about the pencil in his guitar strings. He then proceeded to follow said girl to her home in the dead of night, ignoring all of her requests for him to specifically not do so. A self-proclaimed Christian rock star and composer. Oh, that is so generous. But you know, sometimes you gotta rock the label before it develops. Not once in my life did I ever call myself like a wannabe YouTuber or whatever. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm a YouTuber, damn it. So maybe he's on the right path, just going about it the wrong way. And so we continue our story. Waking up the next morning, being a fellow phone addict, first thing I did was check the time and my notifications. Big blurry numbers on the screen showed 1 p.m. Just makes sense to start the day at 1, honestly. As my eyes woke up a bit later, I started to read the notifications under. New memes from Liz, new comments under a recent art post, new messages from the art group that I was in, and a new message request on Instagram. Rockstar so-and-so had sent me a message. Hi, it's Stalkerbeard from the youth meeting. Did you sleep well? Bro, he went directly home and found you on social media. This is not good. This is not good. Between wondering how the hell he even knew my socials, since I never told them to anyone, and being too embarrassed to share my art and too shy to post selfies, and why he thought that sending a good morning text already was okay, I had to wonder when he had managed to find me. He had a long night last night, let me tell you. Kept himself quite occupied, this 19-year-old man, looking for a 15-year-old girl's social media. Not so innocent now, is he, comment section? The messages were sent at 1 a.m. As I said before, I have two accounts. One being my art account, where I can be my weird self, and the other being a decoy with selfies and nature pics for the normal people. The messages were sent to the photo account. Stalkerbeard sat there at 1 a.m. looking at my photos. I brushed thoughts of what a guy like him might do while looking at my photos in the middle of the night before they could manifest themselves visually. Ugh. And I took a look at that guy's profile instead. And it looked normal, at least at first sight. An edgy profile pic with a black cross and angel wings and some photo of nature and his guitar. No pics of himself. Subscribed to mostly deep quotes and Christian accounts, but as I scrolled through the photos that he had posted, I noticed something. They were all in my area. Posted on the same day, even in the same hour. Each at 5 a.m. today. Yeah, this is not going well. I think even I underestimated how busy a night he might have had. I had a major something is not right feeling that grew only more with each pic that I looked through. And lo and behold, the cherry on top, a picture of flower bushes that were growing in my own front yard. God, dude, what are you doing? Stalkerbeard was walking at 5 in the morning, taking pictures of my area, probably staring into my yard for God knows why and God knows how long, and then he posted them on Instagram. Oh my God, if the red flag, if the siren alerts weren't going off quite yet, oh, it's time to move. Tell your parents, we gotta pack up everything. We gotta go now. After getting some breakfast and doing some self-care, I had gathered enough courage to ask about what the hell was going on. OP, hi. How did you manage to get my Insta exactly? I don't remember telling it to you yesterday. Stalkerbeard replying instantly, Lissy told me. So you're coming today? You seemed to like it yesterday. Oh my God, Liz, again, what are you doing out here? Last episode, she totally threw OP to the wolves, and she has done it yet again. With friends like these, I say again. Liz hated being called Lissy. Everyone knew that Liz hated being called Lissy, and Stalkerbeard either considered it to not be a big deal, calling her that in front of her best friend, or had negative stats when it came to social adaptation. I would bank on the negative stats. I don't know what kind of debuffs he's rocking, but it runs deep. It's not easy to fix, all right? OP, I'm not sure about that. I'll ask Liz if Liz is free, and maybe we, with Liz, will think about it. By the way, you seem to be an early walker. I looked through all your posts, and they're all from today at 5 a.m. Stalkerbeard. Oh, yeah. I just like to learn some chords in the canyon when there's nobody around. It makes me feel like I'm a character in anime. Oh. Yes, the spine powder is strong today, isn't it? I understand you're trying to like pretend that you're a deep and interesting person, but it's not working, man. Why you gotta be like this? OP, you also seem to like the flowers in my front yard, huh? While being good at avoiding awkwardness in conversations, OP was also good at making conversations awkward on purpose. making Stalkerbeard at least conscious of how creepy and weird his actions were by asking uncomfortable questions without a way to dodge the answer, and that was the greatest option that I had at the time. After torturing him with them and some more and then ghosting, I had a phone call with a certain someone. Liz, hey, what's up? OP, hi. Do you know where exactly did Stalkerbeard get my Insta from? Liz, I told him, but don't worry, it was the decoy account. You are just so not helpful, you know that? OP, a decoy account with my photos. The guy who escorted me home and talked about him jerking it casually was staring at my photos at 1 a.m. doing God knows what. Liz, what the hell? Why did you even give it to him in the first place? Liz, hold on, 1 a.m.? You seem to be missing the point of this conversation. OP, yeah, why? Liz, we talked at 12, like 12:30 max. OP, don't tell me that creep was on my page for at least a half hour before messaging me. Liz, maybe he was gathering courage to text you? Who knows? OP, yeah, I sure do hope that it was just that. Liz, or worst case scenario, you know he likes you. Even post-nut clarity. God. Don't you just want to strangle her with a piano wire? You are really making this situation so much worse. Could you not? All the things that you're doing, just not anymore. Okay, please, thanks. We went for a couple of hours joking about his creepy advances, but in the end we decided that just ignoring him would probably be the best thing to do. So we haven't gone back to the cult, as we called it, for some time. Of course, Stalkerbeard still enthusiastically commented about every new pic I posted in my DMs, trying to initiate a conversation with all that he had. Just block him, dude. Pull the trigger. He's my dog, I'll do it. Photosynthesis had for some reason started to ask me more questions. I suppose that he had become sort of the message owl from Stalkerbeard to me now. After things calmed down and Stalkerbeard stopped annoying me, Liz once again asked me to go out to the cult with her. No, never again! She herself spent a lot of time there, because free food and evenings around the campfire with friends. Liz was like a fish in a fishbowl. Unlike me, who on top of her social anxiety now also had a guy openly crushing on her and waiting there. Nothing better to change my mind than some puppy eye torturing, and once again I was back on the stage. While I was still bullied by younger kids right in the face about how I was a loner, Stalkerbeard was not on the horizon, thankfully. And if he was, he just quietly played his guitar in the corner of the pavilion, eyeing me, but not approaching to talk. Sometime later, I let my guard down about him and just had a good time, talking with others and cuddling with Liz. I too became a part of the group, specifically the art aunt or the mom friend. Not the worst place to be, if I'm quite frank about it. Just stick with the group no matter what you do, alright? There's safety in numbers. At some point, I felt okay with talking about it, so I fished Photosynthesis out of the crowd to talk about his bro's behavior earlier. After a brief explanation of the situation and my feelings towards it, he answered. Photosynthesis, well, he did lie about 4 girlfriends, and about beating up his bullies. Knew it. OP says knew it, I say knew it. Nobody was believing that. Photosynthesis continues, but he's always like this. You know about this already, but his paralysis did play a part in his social skills. OP, I get that. That's why I was so straightforward with saying no, and yet he still pushed on even harder. Photosynthesis, and where are you going with this? OP, can't you tell him that maybe he's pushing a bit too hard for somebody that he just met? Photosynthesis. Why can't you do it yourself if it bothers you this much? Because he's your brother, you idiot. It's gonna be a lot better coming from you than from me. He might actually listen to you, but OP just says, I can't. Just can't. Can't do any kind of confrontation, knowing what the other's reaction will be. I don't want to hurt him, but I also don't want him hurting me. Photosynthesis. Well, he hasn't hurt you yet, has he? So just let the gut be happy for a while. Not like he can do anything. Oh, that's what we're waiting for, until he actually hurts somebody. Your strategy is horrible. I don't know what else I expected, but come on, man. And then, I don't know what, maybe that short talk with Photosynthesis, or maybe becoming a part of the group, had me overthinking about Stalkerbeard. Yeah, he was creepy and pushy, but that's just how some people show their affection after being deprived of the attention that they seek and then suddenly receiving it. Don't make excuses for him. Go with your gut on this one, please. So I, again, underestimated the threat that is Stalkerbeard and decided to have a deeper look into him. That meaning, now we sometimes talked over Instagram about his anime interests and rock music, his song lyrics specifically, among other small talk. He also started coming to hang out with us and lists, tagging along with Photosynthesis. Oh, great. Though most of the time he just made unfunny jokes and stood aside, blushing like a tomato, there were a lot more times, like the first entry where he tried to walk me home, but now I was escorted by a school friend of mine who also went to the cult. Introducing Angel! 16 years old, tall and lanky with blue eyes and dirty blonde hair. We met at my second school 2 years before and became besties very quickly. We both write and draw, and he considered me his teacher at both of those things. We both love medicine and dark fantasy and overall share the same tastes. He's a Christian and actually became the next spokesperson of those cult meetings a little later on. Oh yes, he, you said? There's gonna be some jealousy here. This is gonna take a turn real quick, you mark my words. You see, after the first and only time Stalkerbeard had walked me home in the dead of night, my caregiver was convinced that I was going out on dates with him, lying that I went to church just so that she'd shut up about me being atheist. I had a beating or a mental breakdown every evening when I came back, which was slowly eating away what was left of my sanity. She also didn't believe that I was walking alone after the first time. She was convinced that Stalkerbeard was still walking me home, but just turning away a few houses before ours, so that my caregiver wouldn't notice him. So the friend that I was walking home with now was her favorite, and therefore would grant me the beating pass, letting me go to sleep with just the mental breakdown at the end of the day. Oh, what a treat. That's a horrible situation to be in. I'm sorry I had to go through that, OP. You definitely weren't kidding about the tough discipline line in the last part. I would go probably beyond that, and I would say yes, excessive discipline. None of this is okay, but maybe it does explain some things. The advantages of attending the cult overshadowed one giant disadvantage, which was Stalkerbeard, and I would continue coming there with Liz, who was beaten if she had Photosynthesis walk her home, even after the summer break was over, on school weekends and on free evenings. Jesus, dude, this is like a normal thing? This is so not okay, but I don't know, different culture or something like that maybe. It has been known to happen from time to time. Still doesn't feel right. Speaking of school, Liz and I had just enrolled into the same college. Because of that, I had to move from the outskirts of town into an apartment in the town center. Of course, my helicopter caregiver wouldn't let me live alone, so she moved in with me. Okay. Isn't this the part where you're supposed to be like gaining a sense of independence? She's sort of stunting that growth for you, is she not? Living in the same room with her now meant an utter and complete loss of any personal space and independence that I had left, along with my ability to sleep, of course. So the cult meetings became the place for me, where I could be at least somewhat free for at least 4 hours in a day. With that, the contact that we had with Stalkerbeard was strengthened, since now I attended a lot more, and I had to talk with him, even if only out of politeness. He was held back in the second year for failing the math exam for the 3rd time in a row, but now that I moved, I did feel easier talking to him, because he had no idea that I had moved, and he still stalked my old home instead of the new one. Well, that is some sort of reassurance, I guess. And so comes the next incident, which happened at one of the usual evenings that we spent at the cult. As usual, I came to the meeting and seated myself near Angel or Liz, and as usual, Stalkerbeard had seated himself next to me as soon as he noticed my arrival. He was now wearing glasses, which were the exact same style as mine. Maybe he just wants to become you, like steal your whole life. This would make a hell of a horror movie. Stalkerbeard. Hey, OP. Have you seen my text yet? OP. No. Was it on Insta? Stalkerbeard. Yeah, it was. No worries, I could show you now. He blabbered excitedly, looking for his phone in all 8 pockets that he currently had on him. I finished the last song that I told you about. Want to read the lyrics? OP. The one about your ex? Stalkerbeard. Not exactly the ex, but rather the feelings I had when she left. So? We already know that the ex is fake, so who did you actually write this song about? Not only are you weird and creepy, but you're also a liar. You're lying to my face right now. OP said the same thing that she said every single time he offered for her to read his lyrics. I'm not a fan of Russian songs. You know that, right? Stalkerbeard. Yeah, I know, but I also know you'll love this one. My plea to stop was once again ignored, as he was already scrolling through the gallery looking for the screenshots. It's not the worst thing ever. It's not, but it just doesn't bode well if somebody doesn't seem to know what the word no is supposed to mean, right? As he went from folder to folder, I noticed a familiar photo. OP. Hey, what was that just now? Stalkerbeard. What? He asked, hiding his phone from my view. The guiltiest action possible. OP, that photo that you scrolled through. Let me take a look. Stalkerbeard. It's nothing. I think the lyrics matter more right now. Oh yes, this is good and awkward, isn't it? I knew what I saw, so I leapt into Stalkerbeard's lap and stole his phone while he was still flustered by sudden contact with a female's body, and what do you know? There I was, staring at myself from the screenshot of my recent Instagram post with Liz's new kitten. And then, once again, from the previous screenshotted post, and then again. Stalkerbeard had screenshotted and cropped every photo of my face or body from the very few photos that I had on Insta. As my gaze slowly averted from the gallery to Stalkerbeard's iconic beet red face, with his eyes looking anywhere but at me, I started a new interrogation. OP, that's some nice lyrics you got there. I do love these new ones just a little bit. Stalkerbeard. Oh, yeah, those. You see, I downloaded a new editing app the other day, and I wanted to test it out. OP, Huh. Nice app. Almost can't see any of the changes. Stalkerbeard. I only added a few filters, but the photos themselves are good, so they don't need very much changing. OP, I'll take that as a compliment. Why my photos, though? You have plenty of others. Stalkerbeard. Those are saved into a different folder. OP, wanna give me a look? Stalkerbeard, being very uncomfortable and possibly very ashamed. Oh, look, I found the lyrics. Finally. Phew, I thought I deleted them for a moment. Yeah, nice diversion tactic. Now, about those other photos you've edited, I do have a passion for photo editing, especially on photos that aren't of me. Do you have any photos here that aren't of me? God, this is horrifying. Don't let him get away with it. The lyrics were indeed about his ex, very corny, and mostly consisted of the same phrases repeating over and over again. As he told me later, the music was supposed to be the instrumental from some Hollywood undead song, and he just needed to record his singing to release it. He didn't release it, though. Ever. Just like many of his creations. Honestly, it's probably for the best. What do you think, we're missing out on another Mozart here? No, it's fine. And me being, well, me, having been written into many other writers' fanfics, had fallen victim to Stalkerbeard as well. He had written a song that was quote-unquote inspired by me. About me. I can't really recall what it was about. And sadly, I can't even find our text history since I blocked him, so I can't tell you what it was about. But I can definitely tell you that the quality was ever so poor, and the lyrics were ever so cringe and corny. With each day, I had more and more problems, be it at home, at college, or with this emotional vampire that I had as a friend on the internet. Completely drained. I no longer had energy to withstand the meetings and, of course, Stalkerbeard more specifically. Eventually, I stopped coming. Not that it could have saved me from being stalked, however. Now that he had to attend school, he needed money for transport. And where do the jobless guys who play guitar make money? Well, in the most populated areas of town, of course. Just ask Ramtide, I guess. Those being the parks and the shops and the town square, all of which were surrounding my apartment. Oh no, he's gonna suss out where you live now. He's gonna follow you home, to your new home. Oh no. Against my own will, or by pure coincidence, I would at first run into Stalkerbeard strumming away on his guitar all day. Then he would start coming to these spots in hopes of us meeting again. And soon, I would be scared to go outside, because he would always be there, waiting patiently for our quote-unquote coincidental meeting. Yes, what a coincidence. You incessantly waited in a place that you knew I would eventually be. How coincidental! And one day, as I was coming home from the shop, I had a run-in with an old acquaintance of mine, a Neckbeard acquaintance to be exact. She was hanging out in the town square with her gang, and she called me out to have a chat. She was another person to not be ashamed to share very intimate information out in public. So as I stood there, bombarded with details about her having some group action at a party, I saw a familiar shape approaching us, and of course it was the Stalkerbeard. If I had to choose between hearing a recollection of a 150-kilogram woman peeing on herself while being and a guy rambling about Christian rock, you bet I chose the latter. This is definitely caught between a rock and a hard place, quite literally in this situation, if you sit back and think about it for a minute. But I'm trying not to think about it too much. I don't have to choose either one. I take the third option, run away screaming. But OP does wave her hand, cheerfully calling out, "Hey, Stalkerbeard, long time no see. How's the day today? Good performance, huh?" I had planned on using this guy's dullness to get away from the Neckbeard. Sneaking away from him was way easier than sneaking away from her, or so I thought. Oh no. I saw it in my mind's eye, and it's all coming to pass just as predicted! Stalkerbeard. Hey, OP. Not too bad, but could have been better for our town's first rock player. Neckbeard. Wow, you know each other! Really long time no see, Stalkerbeard. Stalkerbeard then noticed who exactly I was talking to. Oh, hi, Neckbeard. OP, you two know each other? Neckbeard. Yep, we went to the same school. Didn't expect to meet you here after you talked so big about getting into our country's best music-oriented institute. Yes, he is known for lying, isn't he? Stalkerbeard did do his best to buzz my ears off about him wanting to get into that institute. Today, I figured out that he had been talking about it for all 3 years, that he had been held back for his second year after failing the graduation exams. Neckbeard and Stalkerbeard clashed in a beard battle, exchanging passive-aggressive compliments for a while. My plan to quickly escape Neckbeard had failed, and had now grown into an even more uncomfortable conversation. So I resorted to the most unoriginal yet efficient excuse. OP. Oh, sorry I got so caught up, I forgot I had some dairy on me. I gotta get home before it spoils in this heat. As I was waving my goodbyes, I caught Stalkerbeard's face getting sour. Now that I was going home, he was left alone with one of the people that he clearly didn't want to talk with. One of the people that nobody wants to talk with. And feeling responsible for dragging him into it, I gave him a way to leave as well. No! No! OP, could you help me bring the bags in, Stalkerbeard? Sorry to ask, it's just Stalkerbeard. No, it's okay. I'll help. Bye, guys! You're gonna lead him right to your home after you know how he is? Oh, God! You can't do this to yourself! Help me to help you! Ugh! And so both of us left the battleground, and since it was only a minute-long walk from there to my place, I circled a bit with Stalkerbeard, now stuck on my tail, not understanding that I, in fact, had no dairy products and needed no help bringing home a bag with a single loaf of bread and 4 apples in it. Once again, in my foolishness, I revealed my address to him. Stalkerbeard. Wait, but don't you live near the canyon? OP. No, we moved recently. Stalkerbeard. Oh, I see. You never told anyone, though? OP. I like to keep my problems to myself. And that was true. Even Liz didn't know that we moved until a couple of days before packing the furniture. I'm surprised she didn't reveal that information to Stalkerbeard, if I'm honest about it. And Stalkerbeard was the last person that I ever wanted to know, but now he was standing in front of our apartment complex, following me right up to my doorstep once again. All my efforts to waste the time and not actually go inside in hopes of him being late for something had been ruined when my caregiver showed up in the doorframe. Oh, double oof. This is the worst thing ever, dude. Now I had to avoid a beating, so I introduced him as the boy who had just helped me to bring back the groceries. She, of course, asked him to go in for a cup of tea to interrogate him for herself. For the next few hours, I was explaining how and why we met today. He told her all of the positive things about him, and in the end played her a guitar solo, all the while stinking up the place with his dirty shoes that, judging by the toxicity of that smell, had been washed around never. Despite that, the stinky boy did manage to get the heart of my caregiver, and for the cherry on top, he now knew my new address. Ugh. So for the next 3 months of autumn, he walked every morning to the bus stop in front of our apartment, now glaring directly into our windows. Oh God, you gotta put like aluminum foil over the windows or something like that. Helps against stalkerbeards, helps against government spy planes. They say that they're birds, but I know what's really going on. I'm not crazy. You're the one that's crazy. You're driving me crazy. All those factors had a great toll on my mental health, of course. Honestly, probably not the best time for me to make a crazy joke, but we're sticking with it. And I was crying myself to sleep every night, even if I even got to sleep. I was regularly getting smacked and had literal hysteria caused by my caregiver on a daily basis. I was failing college, being threatened with being cut off of my only income, and going right back into poverty, and I was sure that nothing could possibly go even worse, which Stalkerbeard had in fact made a whole lot worse in his next doings. You literally moved, you were literally out of the frying pan, and now you just dropped yourself into the fryer because you felt bad for him after all that he's done? And again, I guess he hasn't done anything too malicious, actively malicious at least. But again, I really am just fearing what comes next. This entire situation, it's not going to be good. It's not helping out anybody that's involved with it. I guess we'll just have to brace ourselves for the worst, and we'll get to that part eventually. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, I hope you'll like, comment, and or subscribe. Maybe share the video around. I'd appreciate that. Check out them links in the description. Plugs, playlist, podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Teespring, etc. Yes, we've got social medias, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Wow, so much stuff. I'd also like to thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous Patreon patrons and YouTube channel members, as I do every episode. Jerry much. So thank you too. A Tiny Boy, Amelia Hannon, Sean Cantwell, John Endorse, Train Boy, That One Get Caught, Valley-Eyed Crane, Sheeza, Angel Dark, Bedazzled Misery, Skylar Rain, The Fez Wearer, Rosie Rainbow, Heaven Sent, Robert Thibodeau, Jackie McQuitty, Grim Strive, AJ Colin, Tooth Plushy, Corey Arts, Kelly Clark, Florentic Waver, Dungeon Bat, Billy D, Robert Waits, Brandon Ashcraft, Faith Danica, Wargaming Steve, Skylar Morningstar, The Gypsy Barber, Fire Drake, Samantha, Death's Flagship, and buy two, get one hand. From Patreon, Glorious Maximus, oh, that's a new one, Holly Hohen, Robert Waits, Camille Sarah, Vixie, Ellipses, Captain Cloud, Jerry, Deku, Esteban, Wargaming Steve, Beat Top, with Bag of Mouse, Downtown, Jerry, Back for Forgiveness, he sure did, PCB, Santa Jerry, Silent Revolver, A Very Tired Jerry, Justy Jargonian Jerry, Aaron Jerry, and Frankenberry, Ain't That a Hot Bitch Though, Assassin Bug Jerry, Baby Jerry, Bailey Joy, Benji and the Jets, Billy D, Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Bronze Kraken, Chance the Blue Kraken, oh, those two different Krakens right there, Commander JT, Comrade Moody, Destiny Piper, Dr. Larks, Y'all, Aaron Arrow, Radic Mechanic, East Sparks, Rose Over Studios, Fire Drake, Gizmo Jack, Hadrian BR, Irish Pirate, Lust the Blue Marmalade of Mutiny, Iron Knowledge, A.M. Coon, Jerry Smith, Jerry Kisune, the original Jerry, Jerry Blacktail, Jerry Flips to Jerry, make my name longer so ReddX speeds up the page, list even more. It's gonna happen. Jerry the Outlaw of the Trugger, Hong Kong, Jerry, I'm begging you, please don't take my pen. Jukebox Jerry, Cage Alex 9, Kira, Crewheat, Cuddly Kraken, Lady Italian Greyhoundino, Lady in Awakening, Lauren Crow, Legit Victor, Lord Jerry, Leader of the Thunder Jerrys, Luke X was a race car driver, he was a good friend of mine, never did win that chicken flag, but I helped drink his wine, like and subscribe. Milady Dix, Melgar, the Destroyer, Metal Factor, I'm here because my cringe senses are tickling. Yeah, it worked out today, huh? Miss Black, Needless King 89, not another Jerry, but he is dope. Farrakhan Soul, Phantom of the Pines, Jerry Kins and Jerry Beth, Queens, Quaaludes and Quagmires, Ramtide, Lacrimate, Redwin, Rose Jerry Miller, Sarita the Lolita, Scarlet's Coven, Sergeant K Cop, Bringer of the Law, Silo Imp, 70 Gunner, Sign Empty Boomstick, Brilliant Tomago, the Gypsy Barber, the Lilith Who aren't you fusky? This isn't even my final beard. Tick Jerry, trying to find enough money to get back in the real world. Vanguard Angel, BC3, Viking Jerry, Vladimir Dragonov, Wiki Tag, Zephyr Gargoyle, or Clay. One Leg Jerry has returned from battle. A normal Jerry. All right, Red, for you, I bring Doritos, but I can't your expertise of their Trek Beards. Admiral T-Tank, Amber Alder, another stupid hipster, Atomic Jerry, Zella, Breaker of the Tom Army, Bad Penny Lane, Bartender Kalia, Big Dad Wolf, Broke Spine, Horseradish, Cake Jerry, that's a different Jerry. Cowabunga Jerry Girl, Carcass, Chicara Panda, Corey does commissions now, Cowabunga Jerry, Cryptides, Defon Jerry, Defter Tuna, Dilf Jerry, Dwarf Dude, Fedorable Jerry, just tip the lady, ooh. I always do. Get to at the Doodles commissions also open. Jerry Boo's daughter, Ghost of Alpha, Greymon 365, Half Slavic Jerry in a tracksuit. Eeknot, Hydra Jerry Solomon, Jace Christensen, Janitor Jerry's back from the abyss to clean up after the teenage beards. Good luck. Jeffrey, Geralt of Rivia, Jerry in the Cringe Machine, aka Roxanne Wolfsip Jerry, Jerry Boat 2 S's and E as Jesse, Jerry Springer the results are in. You are not the Neckbeard. Jerry the Sussy Baka, Jerry's mom has got it going on. Check out that mustache on Jerry Aldo Rivera, Jerry Roxers, Jerry Roleplay again, Kim Marvelous, Kids again, Machia CD, maybe next time, Miss Duchess, Mr. Gasmas, not a Viper, not a Visible Angel, Raptor, Art, Selden Dark, Snary, that's Snom, Jerry, Spoonie the Rogue, Spoopy Scary, Jerry Ton, Techno Doves, they call me Jerry Two Knives, Jerry Pie, Third Stuff, this is purely a mercantile transaction. Yeah, that's pretty true. To Infinite Jerry and beyond. Tokyo Bird, Unkale, Vaughn, Venom Jerry, 2 Liter Mountain Dew, Grow by Neckbeard, Grow. It's Jerry time, holds ReddX Morpher. Hi G, it's Jerry time, holds ReddX Morpher. Humility, and thank you to my $1 patrons as well. Bless up to all the Jerrys and not Jerrys alike. really helping me to make it through this month. Thank you guys so much. If you can afford to support alongside these lovely people, that's huge. If you can't afford it, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos, huh? Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.